because we had a budget of £3,000. Again, we sent an email and we get the response in less than 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, we'll get back to you. You know what that means. So you're like, okay, this is like after 3 months, right? 3 months, I've got my regular high pressure job at Vignette, and then we're trying to do this every day, searching. Parents themselves become Google junkies. And then finally, we said, okay, now what? We start again from scratch. It's not going to work. So there was this about 10 days, or which looked like 10 years. There was this complete silence. There was no noise. I mean, there's some noise now, but there's no background noise. Complete silence. There's no response from anybody. We're trying desperately, not getting anybody. They were all getting us, dead end. There were a lot of dead ends. Tried again writing emails, no response. Smita was very ambitious. He actually wrote to O&M, Lintas, saying that, can you partner with us? We're doing something for the country. Thinking that they'll all, jump and, come and partner with us. Nothing of that should happen. Then, I remember this Monday morning, I think we get this email from the creative partner who says that, sorry, I was down with viral fever. As a matter of policy, we give all non-profits, whether they're Indian or in the UK or anywhere, a 50% discount flat on all their services. That was a very big, sort of a shot in the arm. Second thing which happened was we got a technology team firm got back, and they said they just had one line in the email: we accept your terms. Please find the project plan attached. And the first slide of this project plan said, please remit £3,000 right now before you move on to the next slide. Yeah, I mean, they were really desperate. They said, first let's get this £3,000 before we do anything else for these guys. So my response to that was, give me a bank account number and I will do that remittance right now. I said, sorry, we're not registered the company yet. They were a startup as well, so fine. So we said, okay, started, that was a big, again, a shot in the arm. We started, then looking at this initiative in a very serious manner. We said, okay, now is the time to walk the talk. And we started trying to say that how do we promote Runway? We knew nobody, we spoke to a few people, but virtually none. I remember this one late night, around midnight, I was Googling and I found this by accident, a Microfinance India conference which was happening in Delhi. I was like, what is the Microfinance India conference? Clicked on it and realized that it's India's biggest microfinance conference. I said, okay, why don't we go there? That's going to be the platform to talk about Runway. And so I told Smita that, can we go here? And she was like, are you sure? I want to tell everybody that. I said, no, this is a show. This is show time. Let's go and do it. But some of you were like, a bit nervous because saying that we're going ahead and telling people we have, actually we don't have anything except a technology team, a partner who just agreed. Are we jumping the gun? So what we did, we spoke to the organizer of the event and we said, there was a very nice guy called Nishant Tirath. He works for KPMG now. He had this distinction of working with Vikram Akula at some point in the early years. He was a very cool, very great guy because he advised us. He said, this is really awesome what you guys are planning to do. And I would suggest you come and set up a stall. And he also said, don't even think for a moment that I'm asking you to set up a stall because I'll get an additional stall fees. Yeah, because we have to pay 25,000 rupees for the stall fees. So he said, don't even think like that because this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for you to network. And I think that was one of the wisest decisions we took. We came to Chennai. I was consulting in Dubai at that time. So we flew directly from Dubai to Delhi to the conference venue. The best part about this entire story is that we never met our technology partners face to face. We never met our creative partners face to face. It was always on Skype. We didn't even know how they looked. Those days, video calling was also not pretty much in fashion. So And these guys actually, the Niyati, the creative partners, they actually courier our creative collateral directly to the venue. So we have this huge banner of Run Day, creative bookmarks, there are bookmarks hanging around here. But we had a different design at that time, because we actually said there that we are planning to launch this on 26th of January. This was October 2007. Why 26th of January? Because according to the project plan, the software would be ready by December. Again, the whole idea was to connect it with a very important date so that people wanted to remember the launch date. It really worked because I remember on the launch date we had 100 unique visitors on the site. And people blogged about it. They said Run Day went live as planned on 26th of January at 16:48 hours. Yeah. Why 16:48 hours? Because there was a small delay in organizing the samosas and the I was waiting how long, how much more time? Are you making it yourself or are you buying it? So we did that and we had a small party and all of that. And before it actually went live, something happened. I went back to the United Kingdom after the conference. We networked, we identified partners, field partners, who actually were our first field partners. Now, please understand, those days it was really, really tough to convince a microfinance institution to partner with us. Why? Because we had an interest rate cap of 8.5% flat. I said, sorry, this is not an interest rate which you can work with because this is going to create a conflict in the field. On one side, we're charging 15%, 16% to our borrowers, and you're saying that we should charge 8.5%. Sorry, we will not. Fortunately for us, we identified 3 field partners. We trained them in IIM Bangalore. 2 of them backed out. So we were left with 1. I think one of them is calling it. So one of them finally was our partner from Nagpur, and we went ahead with them. So the problem we were facing at that point was the legal structure of Run Day. The challenge was that what should be a legal structure? Should we be a Section 25 company, a trust? Even more than that, the problem was, would we come under Money Lending Act, Public Deposit Taking Act? I mean, you can think of it, right? I mean, essentially we take money from individuals, aggregate and give it as in the form of microcredit. Smita spoke to some 20 chartered accounting firms, and all of them had a different legal model. And she was, as anybody would imagine, she was very confused, and she called me very often, and even I was equally confused. What would be the legal model? And many of them actually warned us, saying that, don't go ahead, these are the sections which may apply against you. We said, okay, thank you for letting us know in advance. I think we'll back out. It's not even attempted. So we decided to shut shop. This was sometime in November 2007. This was sometime in November 2007. And we decided to shut shop and also put a small disclaimer on our website saying that, because of no clarity on the legal, we're planning to call it off. But before we did that, we decided to send out an email to all the people. Is it my phone? So we decided to send out an email to everybody who came to our stall. But they were the thought leaders in the industry. One of them was Dr. Nachiket Moore. At that point in time, he was a deputy managing director of ICICI Bank. We sent out an email, the subject line was SOS. Because in some sense, it was really a crisis mode. We had so much of money. More than that, there was so much of passion, energy. It was as though our life was dependent on that entire project. In less than 10 minutes, we get a call. Smita gets a call from the executive assistant of Dr. Nachiket Moore. It was as though they need a crisis mode, Imagine a call in less than 10 minutes. And Nachiket knew nothing about us. He calls up, and his executive assistant calls and says, Dr. Nachiket is traveling at the moment. Would you like to talk to him? He's eager to talk to you. She said, sure. And he calls her and she starts explaining about, I think 2 minutes into the conversation, Nachiket says, don't call me sir, call me Nachiket. We are friends now. So I think that was a very dramatic statement, but I think it was a big statement to make. And then he invited us to Bangalore. He said, I want both of you to come down and meet me as soon as possible. So I was like, okay, when do we go next? The soonest date in his calendar was 1 month later. So I said, okay, that's soon enough. And then we decided to come and meet him exactly a day after Christmas. So 26th of December 2007. We met him. So it's very interesting. This is exactly a month before our go live. And what was our agenda? All we wanted to do was to take his support, his support and his approval that our model is doable, is legal, and he vouches for it. We met him, and that's what we wanted to do. We met him, and we explained him the model, and he also explained about his own initiative at ICICI Foundation. And we had a long discussion, and then finally, he popped the question. He said, or he made a statement. He said, very common to see people who have strong technology skills, very easy to find people with a strong social focus, but a combination is very rare. And I see that in you. I want you to join my team and head technology, and in return, I'll fund your money. And I said, oh, this is fantastic. So yeah, I said, yeah, sure. He said, is that a yes? I said, yeah, it's a yes. This is fantastic because the model which we had worked upon was that we didn't ask 6,000 pounds just disappeared like into thin air. Because 3,000 we gave to the technology partner. We were left with only 3,000. In that we traveled like crazy in India. All the travel costs were covered in that. And then finally, and creative communication and all that. So we were left with virtually no money. So the plan was that I would take up a job with Schroders in London as an investment bank. And they were giving me an amazing, really nice package. And I would fund about 2 to 3 lakh rupees every month for my salary into Runway for 6 months. And run it for 6 months. And after that, just say that, okay, well, we're done. We don't have any more money. In some sense, it was to show that, the proof of, in some sense, honestly, in some sense, we're trying to prove, make a point. Say that we can do this. We have done this so far. It's like a relay race. You run a little bit and say that, okay, now it's your turn. The battle was the money in this case. We had only that much to run. So, and he said, you don't have to do all of that. Quit your job. Come back to India. I said, yeah. And he said, well, you have to move to Chennai. I said, sure. Doesn't matter. Even if it's any other place in the country, doesn't matter. So we agreed instantly. But he said, give me some time. I need to consult my colleagues. There are 2 more colleagues of his. And he said, I'll get back to you. So we said, okay, fine. We were not in a hurry anyway. So we came out of the building. We came in a taxi to it was in Bangalore MG Road. We were searching for a car. It was mysteriously, missing. Less than 10 minutes we get this call from a colleague of his saying that, where are you guys? We've been desperately trying to call you. Oh, well, we're not too far away. Can you come back? We went back and said, we've made up our mind, we'll fund you, put in your notice right now. And give us a date of joining. And we were completely flabbergasted. We were like, oh, this is awesome. And that obviously, the next step was to resign. It was painful, but I put in my papers, resigned, and moved back to India. And that's how it all. Then I joined as head of technology at Alpha Trust, looked after the entire ICC Foundation ecosystem. And Smita was the founding CEO. She ran for about a year. This last financial year, start of the financial year, I moved in as full-time CEO and we received another round of funding from ICC Foundation. So the model, the way Runway works is we charge 8.5% from our borrowers, 5% is for our field partner, 2% is for our social investor. You can go online today and make an investment of 100 rupees or more. 1% is for Runway, 0.5% we keep aside for contingency for in case there are defaults. These defaults, again, we have a definition of defaults. If there is a process violation at Runway's end or at a field partner's level, we don't consider it as a default. If it is a condition where, or a situation where an individual is unable to make the payment, we call that a default because of socioeconomic reasons. So largely that's how it works. We've been around for 2 years, just completed, as you would imagine, second anniversary was on 26th of January 2010. We've done about 1.3 crores in disbursals in 10 states with the help of 18 partners. We are now setting up operations in the Northeast. Very soon, in a month from now, we'll have partners in Guwahati, 2 partners in Guwahati, 1 partner in Shillong to begin with. I'm attending a microfinance conference in Guwahati day after tomorrow and the day after that, and we hope to find some more partners. If you look at economic microfinance map in India, Northeast is the most ignored or neglected part. We're trying to fix that. Now, any questions? I'm sorry, I think I took longer than I should. Any questions? I'm more than happy to answer. Did I answer everything? Did I say everything?
So, who are your partners?
Okay, these are non-profit organizations or even MFIs, microfinance institutions, like for example in Orissa we have Gramathan. So yeah, if you can refer any partners, we're more than happy to work with them. It's just that we take a really long time to partner with somebody. 50% of the time we reject them, 50% of the time they reject us. So they find our terms a bit too tough to follow. So yeah, any organization which works with the community. Even artisan groups, yeah. Sorry.
1% of the enough for the organizational cost for
okay, so very good question. What we do is, please understand the model here. We are in some sort of facilitator. We aggregate the funds. Every time there's a transaction, we get 1%. We are not just looking at this as a sole source of revenue. We're looking at multiple revenue streams. One of them would be this. The second thing would be online advertising. At some point, not now, then we'll also have subscription. So we'll charge our social investors at some point annual fee. So we're more than happy to pay. The whole idea is we're paranoid about ensuring the microcredit itself is low cost. If you're really pushed to the corner, then we may increase a little bit, but that's only when you're pushed to the corner.
So what you do is exactly you raise the money and then give it to your partner. They themselves distribute among the
yeah, but there's a process we follow. We don't do individual loans. We give loans to individuals who are part of a group. So let's say, if you're 20 of us here, then you typically are from 4 different groups, and each one in that group vouches for each other. And this group concept is responsible for Professor Mohammed Yunus winning the Nobel Peace Prize. But he spent 20 years figuring that out. And the last 2 years, we have seen this work like a charm. It works flawlessly. The group concept works. Period. Every time when I go out in the field, I ask the group members, why are you repaying the loan to us? It's a very wrong question to ask, right? Why are you repaying the loan to us on time, every time? And you know what the answer is? They say that because if I don't repay, all my group members will get affected. Okay, somebody had a question.
Sir, how do you publicize about your
I think we go about, the whole idea is to build a very mass movement. We have city-based chapters. We have very active chapters in Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai. I hope we can also set up a chapter in Guwahati. We can have a student chapter. If you guys want to participate, it would be wonderful. Two, the media has been very kind to us. We have been featured in many media publications. And in fact, today, we are featured on CNBC TV 18 at 12 o'clock today. So I think the whole idea is to build a mass, See, also please understand, we don't want to do it in a rush. We can actually blow up a lot of money. I think reputation, transparency comes with time. And we have seen it. You can't do it in a rush. You have to give it that amount of time for people to say that you are here for the long run. We have to fight all the cynicism we have in all of us. Even I have cynicism in me, saying that, well, can we really make it big? I think unless we do about $1 million every month, 5 crores every month disbursements, I don't think we have reached anywhere, given the size of the problem we have. Then it's a good problem to have, said, okay, fine, how do we go to the next $10 million? But the whole idea is that. So, and again, I want to share this because the new year for Run Day started with a big bang. There was this coverage in DNA, Daily News Analysis, DNA Mumbai, and we get this mysterious caller. Calls us with says, I read your story in DNA. My name is Vaidya Rahman, and I want to congratulate you for the work you're doing. And I want to support the initiative. So Smita's like, oh yeah, okay, you're Vaidya Rahman, okay. So you want to support the initiative. So she said, do you have an office in Mumbai? She said, yeah, oh well, we don't have an office in Mumbai. We have a chapter in Mumbai. So would you be kind enough to connect me with the chapter member? So I said, oh yeah, sure. I will ask my volunteer, who is the president of the chapter, to come and meet you. She said, okay, and can you ask him to call me tomorrow? And she gives Smita a landline number. This is fine. And then she said, and then she was telling everybody, there was somebody called Vaidya Rahman. What a coincidence, This is somebody called Vaidya Rahman who actually is a name which is similar to the actress. And a couple of hours later, Aditi Sheshadri, who the reporter who wrote the article, sent a frantic message on email. She said, you know what? Vaidya Rahman called my editor a short while ago. She took my phone number. I gave the phone number to Vaidya Rahman, the actress in brackets. Expect a call from her anytime. And Smita is like, okay, what do I do? And she's like, okay, I will. Then instead of, Mitesh is the chapter president, he works for a company called Nomura Technologies. Smita calls up the following day, apologizes. And Vaidya Rahman was so, kind enough to say that, well, I didn't want to disturb you. I'm sure you must have got so many calls because of the media coverage. So I didn't want to disturb you. I wanted to talk to some of your other representatives. And she didn't realize that we didn't get even one call. It was the only call we received that day. And then she invited us in the new year. She said, I'd like to come and I'd like to meet you. So we both of us went and visited her. She's got this beautiful bungalow. It's like a bungalow out of 60s, still like that. And her neighbor is Salman Khan. We had to go past him actually because he was going out somewhere. And we went and met him. And she was amazing. She's an amazing person. She's almost 74 years old. And she's passionate about one thing. And that is the country called India. Just too much of passion. And she said that anything to do with development. Again, she made it very clear that it was not runway or microcredit which she was very passionate about. It was anything for the betterment of the country. Conservation, energy. She was saying that, nobody listens to me. She was pointing at Salman Khan's apartment block. They don't listen to me. I talk about garbage, recycling and all that. They say that what's wrong with her. And we had a nice conversation. She said she would support us. She would come and see our work. And one thing which struck big time with us was, when we were leaving, I remember this, a statement which she made. She said, India needs people like you. You're doing a fantastic job. Please continue to do this when I'm here and even when I'm not here. And then subsequently, 3 weeks later, she joined Sumita. She traveled all the way from Mumbai to Nagpur. She spent 2 days understanding the work we were doing. She went out to the field. She went out to the slums in Nagpur, and she spent. And the borrowers didn't have a clue who was coming. All they were told was, there's a guest who's coming. So it was complete, an amazing experience. So yes, I think if you ask me the question, answer to the question is, if you ask me, I would, at some stage, I don't think we are ready yet, but at some stage, we will not hesitate to make a pitch, a very passionate pitch, to some of the leading Bollywood celebrities, and say that, do you want to really do something good? Do you want to really make low-cost microcredit reality in India? Why don't you come and support our cause? The results are really out there for you to see. So if you ask me who will be my dream brand ambassadors, it would be Shah Rukh Khan and Amir Khan. Both of them supporting runway in one frame. Right? So I mean, and the whole idea is to do something which is impossible, right? Very impossible to see that both of them supporting a cause. But yeah, I think that's the whole idea, to get both of them to support a cause like that. Because they're trying to do something which is fairly tough. We do, please understand that we're trying to do microfinance in a different way. It's not just for business, because I think it would be very unfair, any one of us, to imagine that if we give a 2,000 rupee loan or 3,000, 5,000 rupee loan to somebody, they'll come out of poverty. That's not the case. The fact of the matter is that we all know, and we are all living testimonies for this, that education is a very big enabler. I mean, especially for people from low-income households. It can actually give them the power to fight and come out of the current circumstances. What we've done, 200 education loans last year, fantastic experience. We also analyzed, we don't do things for the sake of doing it. We said, okay, why should we give education loans? Because education itself, by virtue of education, you pay them on a monthly basis, right? You pay fees on a monthly basis. So I did this extensive research. My team was saying that you're traveling so much, the bills are going up. I said, I want to get to the root of this problem, because we need to get answers. Unless you get the answers, there's no point in doing a program for the sake of doing it. I went and spoke to 50 school principals in Delhi, private school principals, not the private schools which you and me refer to, private schools. It's a really small schools. They have fancy names, Oxford Grammar School and all of that. But it's a really, really small. They look like tuition